Hello, guys, and welcome to today's Tropical Update. And I know I've been gone for a while. I've been dealing with a lot of personal stuff, and I dealt with COVID for a while. Well, the COVID actually lasted only like 5 days, but the aftermath, the cough, lasted like a month and like a week. So I wasn't really able to make any videos in that time frame. But I am here. I've returned, and hopefully for the peak of hurricane season, I'm here full time for you guys. Now, while there's not much going on in the Atlantic, I might I might do this every other day. I'm not sure yet, unless I talk about stuff in the Eastern Pacific, which I'm thinking about doing as well. But for now, I want to be focusing here on the Atlantic portion of things. So, with that being said, we are here looking at the Coral Reef Watch sea surface temperatures for August 2nd, 2022. And you can see here that the eastern, not the eastern, but the Gulf of Mexico here is piping hot. We got 30s, we got 31s popping up here. So, and there's 29s all over the place here in the Gulf of Mexico. So the Gulf of Mexico is definitely plenty warm enough to support tropical storms, hurricanes, and even major hurricanes if some were to get in there. Outside of the Gulf of Mexico, here on the western Atlantic side, we got some 29s basically, dominating this region here. And then you got the 27s and 28s leading all the way here towards the eastern parts, central parts of the subtropics here. So that pretty much all of this area here you see on this map is good to go. Here in the Caribbean, you're looking at 29s, 28s, 27s, definitely good enough to go for the season. Now we're going to take a look at the whole wide range of the temperatures here. And you can see here clearly the 26s are, past the 45 line. These 26s are like way up here near the 40. They're basically going up towards the 40 line, which you can't see here on this map. So here in the eastern regions of the MDR, you're looking at these 26-degree isotherms making their way around 18 north. So these temperatures, from here for the next couple of weeks, they might be warming up a little bit in these areas. They might seep up a little bit more north than what we're seeing right now because the overall environment right now is that of continuous warming in the development region. As you can see here in the central and western MDR, you're way more than warm enough here in some of these locations. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the Coral Reef Watch sea surface temperatures. These are the actual sea surface temperatures right now in the East Atlantic, which probably includes Western MDR, Central MDR, Eastern MDR, and the overall average of the sea surface temperatures in those areas is 27.049 degrees. So we're up above that magical line there for tropical development if we were able to get the dry air situated, which there are some hints that could be changing here in the next 2 or so weeks. We're just going to have to see what happens with that. All right, so here is the Coral Reef Watch sea surface temperature anomalies. You can see here that here in the early part, in the middle part, and pretty much going towards the ending part of July, we had this steep decline here, ups and downs, peaks and valleys. It got to one point where it was a below average, but then it rebounded back up. And it's pretty much been above average ever since, the later parts of May, besides this one point here. And right now, we are looking at an average of 0.172 degrees above the long-term average, which it's decent, but you need that to go up a little bit higher if you want a decent hurricane season. Not to say that this is not good enough, but if you're looking at some of the the forecasts from, like, say, CSU or anybody else that has predicted a hyperactive season, you want these temperatures to go up a little bit higher than this. Probably about a half a degree would be fine for those types of seasons. Like I said, the next couple of weeks could be seeing some warming here, so we'll see how it all pans out a little bit later on. here is another really important thing if you want to have a busy, active Atlantic hurricane season is these Nino 3.4 regions. You got either warm neutral, you got neutral, you got cool neutral, and then you got La Nina and El Nino. Obviously, El Nino, you're not going to get much activity in the Atlantic because of high wind shear values. The opposite is said for the La Nina, where it promotes lesser wind shear in some areas and typically shuts down the Eastern Pacific. But obviously, we haven't really been seeing that this year because the eastern part of the Eastern Atlantic, or not the Atlantic, but Eastern Pacific, has been warm. And not to mention that, but parts of the northern, areas of the East Pac have been warm. So it's, looking at some help in this area to see the Eastern Pacific really grow. And well, we're probably going to get 2 or 3 more storms before that starts slowing down. Which we got one right now, an area of interest right now that is a 0.20, and another area of interest that is 0.60. So I might go over those tomorrow on that update. But we're talking about the Nino 3.4 region, and right now you can see that steep decline here. And we're looking at a value of negative 0.851 degrees below the long-term average. And it would not surprise me, in the very least, if we made it down to moderate La Nina before it's all said and done. So with that being said, now we're going to take a look at the, now we're going to look at the NOAA Reef Watch here. And it's a little bit lower than, a little bit higher, than the OISST. And the value here of this one is negative 0.728, which is still pretty decent into weak La Nina territory here. So right now, these SSTs should be seeping eastward as time progresses. And, we're going to see the Eastern Pacific start to suffer because of that. So only time will tell what can really happen here. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the GFS here. And we're going to see if there's going to be anything here in the next 5 days or so. As you can see, this was initialized at 12Z. So this is the latest run that happened today. And you can see that high pressure is just dominating here. And this is what's causing the wave breaking that you probably hear a lot on Twitter. It's because of this high pressure placement. And it's pushing this dry air from northeast to the southwest. And that's pretty much shutting down the whole MDR at this point. Is because of that wave breaking. We'll see if this high pressure moves any in the next 5 days, and as you can see, it does move a little bit, but it's still not the ideal placement for you want to see stuff develop. So as you can see, in the next 5 days, GFS shows absolutely nothing in the Atlantic. But then you look over here in the Eastern Pacific, and then you got this 989 millibar, probably a Category 1 hurricane, which once again I'll be talking about tomorrow. So now we're going to take a look at the Euro here, and as you can see, it pretty much has the same high placement, forcing this Canary currents to cool, and in return it's going to be seeping that dry air once again from the northeast to the southwest, and you're not going to get much in terms of development in the main development region. So we're going to go up 5 days. Here we go. The Etsy seems pretty active, but nothing in terms of anything trying to consolidate and become anything. And this might be the ideal placement for the high, in my opinion. So good news is next 5 days, don't worry about any development. You're probably going to get some rain showers here in the Gulf states. You're going to probably get some showers here in the islands, and the ETSI is pretty active. So besides that, no tropical development in the next 5 days. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to give myself a little self-plug here. I'm going to show the ECMWF ensemble members and the GEFS ensemble members, and they're starting to pick up on a little activity here in the central western part of the MDR. It says it looks like there is a weak signal in the MDR in both the GEFS and the EPS. To me, it looks like the GEFS is starting to cave to the EPS. Still lots of time to watch if the downtrends or uptrends, but this gives us clues exactly of when the Atlantic is about to wake up. So we're going to take a look at these pictures here, and this is the EPS about hour 240. Normally I don't look out this far, but seeing as there's really no threats to land right now, we're going to show it. And as you can see, there's some EPS numbers that are well, spread out, but it's still showing a signal here for a potential tropical development in the central and western part of the MER. GEFS, on the other hand, does show the signal that the EPS shows, but it's more clustered together, and it's only going to be a matter of time before these models really start to pop off as we head closer to the peak of the hurricane season. I just don't, there's a lot of talks about a 2013 repeat, and, I just don't really see that. The setup is not the same as 2013. And there's people like Andy that says this wave breaking is probably just a seasonal thing. So once that settles down a little bit later on into the month, I do expect that to start popping up into the ensemble members with tropical development in these areas. Another self-plug. Yes, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll leave that stuff in the description below. And looks like the GEFS is starting to cave towards the EPS when it comes to VP anomalies. And that is true. What you see here from August 30th onward is favorable for the Atlantic. This is not the smoke and mirrors. This is actually favorable look for the Atlantic right here, and this area right here too. So when it comes to when we might be waking up, it could be it's hard to put a time frame here. I would say anywhere from the next 10 to 15 days is when we're going to start waking up. Obviously, when we're talking about from August 3rd to maybe to August 11th, it's not going to be very favorable because of the wave breaking. That's just how it is. So, with that being said, get your plans ready, get your preparations in order. We still very well could have a very busy hurricane season when the can lid opens up. Anyways, that's going to be it for me for today. Tomorrow, I'm going to be back with a video update on what's going on in the Eastern Pacific. Until then, I want to thank you all for watching. If you like it, hit that like button and subscribe for more if you like these detailed updates. Anyways, thank you for watching and have a great day.